Hi there. Well, this is the flagship model of a Sealine back in 1991. This is a Sealine 365, 1991 model, one of the last ones ever made. This is a Sportbridge, which we'll show you in a minute, quite unique. Loads of unique features on this Sealine. So we're going to see if it's stood the test of time, and it's got some modern touches as well. So stay tuned to see this iconic boat on this walkthrough tour right here, right now. Hi there, well I'm Jonathan Parker from Parker Adams, and we're here in Buckler's Heart to show you this Sealine 365 Sportbridge. It's a unique design back in the day. Sealine had loads of quirky things that they did on this boat, so we're going to show you some of them. The first one is more recognisable now on sort of the later Sealines before then and the new ones, is this bow spit. So this bow spit sticking out. Actually, even it looks like a nose sticking out of the boat, doesn't it? But the anchor's built into it, so you no longer have an anchor sticking out the front of the boat, which could cause damage if you bumped into other boats, but also can be quite dangerous if you're dinghying around or playing about in the water. And the stanchion rails, the rails around the boat, also sort of protect that area, so you can walk right out onto the front of the anchor and actually stand over the anchor and literally watch it drop straight into the water. It's very interesting. You can operate it from there as well, because you can see the windlass on the top, up and down buttons on there, and obviously you got the locker on the front. It's a very interesting design, and this was sort of iconic for the Sealine look at this time. But as we go around, the other thing that was very quirky on this Sportbridge, I don't know if you can see, is actually the roof design. So you've got the glass roof, you've got the glass screens all the way around, which is surrounded with the stainless steel frame, which actually I really like. It looks really smart. The stainless steel looks very smart. Quite often now, so many windows are framed with aluminium, and that has bubbled, it's corroded over the years, but the stainless steel frame on this still looks in great condition. But you can see it's almost like a T-top. So in the centre, it sort of curves, and you've got these two covers that cover each side. So inside, you'll see it much more clearly, but it's like a really cool shape for the 365 Sportbridge. Obviously, you have the radar arch, and then your normal Sealine lines and decals of the era. You can see it's got red covers, so it's the red and white option on here, which does complement the boat, actually. It gives it that sporty feel. But then we come round onto the bathing platform, and it has an extended platform, and you can see it's later teak. The teak, actually hold that thought with the teak, because the current owner has done some work on the interior teak as well, so you can see the difference just by putting a bit of elbow grease in and just doing a bit of caulking on an older teak. So it's quite interesting. Easy to get on and off, so you just step on. There's a big door into the cockpit area, as you can see. It's even got the Sealine logo on, which is quite cool. But then you've got the bathing platform that comes all the way across. What's interesting about this is you've got an outboard bracket on here. You've also got a little winch if you wanted to lift the tender on and off. You've also got snap davits. So you've got the option of snap daviting the boat on here and then lifting it up using the winch, and then putting your outboard on there. It's very neat. There's also fender holders, enough for 5 fenders all the way along. There's a bathing ladder at this end. The shore power connection is on there. So it's a very neat, usable bathing platform area. But as you come in, so if you come on and come in and then look at the teak, look at the difference. So all he's done is done a bit of sanding and a bit of recorking on the cockpit area, and you can see what a difference, because it was very similar to the back, although not as sun bleached, but very similar. Some of the caulking was coming away, and he's redone this through. So it really goes to show what you can do with real teak if you just put a bit of elbow grease in. But this cockpit area is vast. It really uses the full width of the boat, because the walk round starts here rather than the back of the boat, so you get the benefit of the full beam of this boat. And we've got the U-shaped seating. Interestingly, we spent quite a lot of time finding the battery switches on this boat when we first come on it, so Sealine love to hide them. In later ones, they still do it. And in fact, on here, they're hidden behind this cupboard just there. They're just in there. So if you ever want to know where Sealine 365 Sportbridge battery switches are, that's where they are. The table actually has its original table. And it stores just here, which is quite interesting. There's 2 table legs there as well, so you can have the table up here. There's also a table position up on this slightly upper cockpit area. But I just want to show you there's actually a fridge here as well, which is quite neat. And that's just for your gas, to turn your gas on and off. Fuel on and off is actually in that locker there. There's storage under here and this outside sort of wet bar area. So you've got a fridge, hot and cold water at the sink, and then as we come up into this upper area, I just want to point out actually there's an extra door here. That's a sliding door access into the aft cabin, which is really interesting. Another quirky thing that Sealine actually did on some of the later models as well, but this is where it was first designed. So you'll see a lot of the Sealine designs in the later models, the more modern looking ones, came from this. As we come up into this high position, you can see there's a table position here as well, so the table can be fitted here. There's also looks like the table could drop down, and it could be an infill as well, so you can have a sort of sun lounging area up here, which is actually really nice at its elevated position, especially now we've got the covers rolled up overlooking the river. But you really can now see this T-top, so it's such a cool feature. This comes across, and of course it's got lights in it as well, so imagine what this looks like at night. It must be so cool. And I'm getting a bit excited about it. The stainless steel bars across to support the covers, but also it acts as a grab handle, because obviously you can remove this, you can unzip it, so it just needs to be unzipped, and you can roll it right the way back, and you can do the same with that one, so the boat can be open without having to take all the covers off. And for a lot of sports boats, there's a bit of a bind doing all the covers every time you want to take them off and on again, but you don't need to with this. You can quite easily just roll them all up. Same with the side covers as well. To get the side access, you need to undo them to get around. But this upper seating area is lovely. Then we come round to the helm position. So it's a twin helm. There's a 12-inch Raymarine screen here, which is much later than the boat, but this will be circa 2008, that sort of era. So like the mid to late 2000s. And then you've got some other Raymarine equipment for depth and speed over ground up there, as well as we've got autopilot. So this has autopilot. It also has radar on top, and of course it has a bow thruster which you can control from here. But I don't know if anyone who's noticing, who knows your engines, you might have noticed this is a 1991 boat, so it would have originally been equipped with twin diesel Volvo Penta diesel engines. They would have been the older mechanical diesel engines, but in 2008 this boat was re-engined with Volvo Penta D4 engines. We'll show you them in a minute, but what that means is all of a sudden now we've got like a classic boat with modern machinery, because this has electronic controls for the throttles and the gear changes. It's got the Volvo EVC system, as well as the Volvo trim tab system as well. And don't forget, it's not just the engines that were changed, the transom shields and the drives as well. So it was all redone in 2008. So when you look at this from a machinery point of view, you want to think, actually, the machinery is 2008. So that's the age of the machinery. And the engines have only done 400 hours since then. So it's a very low-hourred boat, even for a 2008 boat to only have 400 hours on, let alone a 1991 boat. And that really gives this that uplift in desirability for anybody looking at possibly taking on an older boat like this, because this is brilliant value for money when you take into account the space you have on here, as well as the modernisation of the diesel engines and the electronics. So it is a really good little buy, this boat, and loads of room. So let's leave the helm. I'll take my shoes off and then we'll show you down below, because it is humongous down here. So as we drop down into the saloon area, you can see actually that it's again full width, of course, and we come from the seating area, which is a large seating. So I'll sit down just to give you an idea. The settee just on this side can probably hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. There's additional 2 seats over there, which is actually movable seats. So you can move these seats around. They've got the seat back and a seat base, and not just stools, and you can actually slide them out and you can put them around. So there's also a downstairs dining table. It's not on board at the moment, it's at the owner's residence, but there's a downstairs dining table as well, so you can have here. So you can have actually people sat around the dining table down here, which again, if you think about other boats like this, that's fairly unusual. To be able to do that. It feels more yacht-like doing something like that. The steps as well, they're not too steep and there's not too many of them, so it's a nice sort of walk down. And then the flooring itself is a wooden floor, you can see. So it's quite nicely finished, nice and light. Obviously the boat, it has an age to it. It's a 1991 boat, you'll see that, but at the same time it feels airy, it feels fresh. And there's loads of features. This, I think I've noticed that this has two handles on it. So I'm pretty sure this will pull out. And then you can make this into another double. Because this is a it's a 6 to 8 berth boat, believe it or not. So we need to try and find all the berths. So we've got two here. Okay, and then once we come through into this front cabin, there's another double berth. And it's a sort of a sideways bed. And this was adopted as well going forward into later models by Sealine. Also Fairline as well adopted this sort of sideways bed. So it gives you a walk-in cabin with still having a nice double-sized bed. There's this wardrobe on this side, full-length mirror here. Bit of storage up above. Obviously this can be covered up. There's a blind that just pulls out so you can cover up in here. Make it nice and cosy. This has diesel heating as well, this boat, so it has diesel heating throughout. That's a much later unit as well. It's a modern Spacious diesel unit, which I can't remember exactly what age it is, but it's fairly new in comparison to the age of the boat. Also though, actually this door is a sliding door. It's like a little pocket door. So this door just, hang on, how do you do it? You do it, just slides across like that. And so you can be completely private, but then if you open the door to the heads, hello, it's a Jack and Jill arrangement for the first heads in here, and you can see it's just a seawater pump toilet, but comes into a nice size heads. There's obviously sink, hot and cold water, so pull out, shower, storage underneath. The shower can go up to here, so you could shower in here if you wanted to. There is a shower curtain as well that does come on and to protect the doors, but essentially it's a bit of a wet room. So whether you actually shower in this one or not, I don't know, because I'll show you the other heads in a minute, and that might be a bit more amenable for that. But there are heating vents in here as well, so there are heating vents everywhere. These are the two seats I was telling you about, so they are movable. And there's cupboard storage behind as well. There's loads of cupboard storage on this boat. There's loads of storage everywhere. I mean, it's storage, well, I wouldn't say storage in here, but there's a TV in here. So this originally would have had like an old-fashioned like TV just on that side. I saw there's a brochure somewhere, I just saw it. But they've obviously modernised it by putting the modern flat screen in, and obviously a more modern stereo underneath as well. So again, it's got another modern touch to it. This also has a generator. So this has a generator as well. The generator is controlled here on the controls, and it currently says it's done 134 hours. So again, not much use on the generator either. And through to the galley. So the galley, you can see, is fairly nice bit of space on here, nice worktop space, a second fridge, which is always nice. A second fridge and freezer compartment, quite a generous freezer compartment for this type of boat. And then we've got loads of storage again. So little storage cupboards. There is a lift up storage as well, which is quite clever. And then obviously two cupboards with a pull-out bin as well. So again, very neat and tidy. There's even small cupboards behind, sort of bigger cupboards. So there's cupboards everywhere. Drinks holders, and then obviously we've got a drainer, which is almost like a half sink size, but then you've got a proper sink the other side, and then you've got a triple gas hob on there, as well as obviously your microwave up on here, and it is does look like it's a grill as well. So it's a microwave grill, it's a convection oven, so it's a combi, so it's a convection oven, convection oven, sorry, as well as a microwave. So it's again quite well equipped. So let's walk through to the second cabin. And as you come into here, there's a huge seat on here, so a huge seat, very deep, and you kind of think, that's very deep, isn't it? And you kind of, well, okay, it's a bit of a waste of space, but it's not, because there's a weird, well, I say weird, there's a cubby hole at the end here, which you can put your feet in, like this, and then now you could sleep here, like that. So it's a bit of a squeeze for me, perfect for someone shorter or a child. I'm 6 foot tall, so it is a little bit tight for me, but if I do this, I'll be perfectly happy. I can sleep anywhere anyway myself. So it's another bed. So you've got an additional bed here, which is very neat. There's another storage, it's hanging space cupboard there. I'll let you come through, because then it's through to the twin beds. And I like the fact these are proper height, so we can actually get up onto them. Proper height beds. And very, very comfortable. You can see this drops down on this side. I don't know whether I'd probably sleep that way round. I'd probably sleep the other way round on that one. I don't know. I'd have to see. It looks a little bit, could be a little bit claustrophobic just under this bit. But the other side is where the door is that you saw up on the cockpit. So there's actually an access hatch here. Obviously it could be used as an emergency if need be, but you can also climb out there straight into the cockpit area if you wanted to, which is quite neat. There's a bit of storage in the sort of centre here. I'm not sure, but if you look on here as well, it looks like there could possibly be, or there was, an infill for here, because it's got these two little ledges, so you could, if you wanted to, put an infill in, and then you could probably slide the bed across, so then it becomes a double in this area, and then you lose that bit of space on the end, which obviously that would feel a lot less claustrophobic. There's storage cupboards here as well, and a drawer. There's even, look up there, there's even a storage cupboard up here. I don't know what you'd put up there, but there's even a storage cupboard up there. There's loads of storage around. I bet there's got to be storage under here. Yeah. Such as access. No, storage. More storage. Tools and things. There's just stuff everywhere. So there's just storage everywhere. But now we go into the second heads. And actually it goes from looking like you're not going to be able to stand up to fully being able to stand up, because it actually raises up in this section. And you can see, because of the floor design, it's sloped down to the plug hole. So actually this would serve as a slightly better shower. There's a shower screen comes across, and then the shower comes out and you'll shower up here, so you can actually shower up in here. Again, there's a storage here, just normal toilet flush. And there's a nice window, and there's two mirrors in here, weirdly. There's two mirrors that you can look at yourself at. But very neat. Very neat design, very tidy boat as well. It feels very clean and tidy and well looked after. So I think with this modern technology when it comes to the machinery, as well as the fact the navigation equipment... sorry, Nick just fell off of a step. You got to watch the step, Nick. But I would say though, this Sealine is it actually feels like it's in great condition. We'll show you the engine bay in just a sec, but I just wanted to show you what it's like again to sit down here. There is the original brochure. Look, here we go. The 365 Sportbridge. It actually gives some specs as well. So 365 isn't completely accurate. It's actually about 40 foot length overall, because I think you have to take into account the bowsprit and the bathing platform. So it's 40 foot, 13 foot beam, and then it has an air height of 4 metres, so 13 foot again, with a 3 foot draft. So so it's very neat and tidy. This is very good condition. This must be very old. It's very cool. You can see what it looks like with all the covers off. Very smart. And actually you can see here, look, that's when the seats are brought out around the table. That's quite cool. And then that's actually that's quite clever. There's the infill that would have been there, so you can make it into a larger bed again if you wanted to. So I think all in all, it's a great little boat. Let's show you the engine room, and then I think that's probably all I can show you on here today. Okay, well, all right. So I've opened up the engine hatch. There's 3 opening hatches. So we've just done the end one. And I think we can get good access to the engine. So what I particularly like about this is actually because the cockpit's quite high, there's a lot of room above the engines. So there's about that much room above the engine, so you can really get around them. So I just want to, actually, if I take that from you, Nick, I just want to show you a couple of points. First of all, there's your generator. And then there's your battery charger. Your sort of main strip switches, but then you can see these are relatively new as well. So these are really nice pre-filters, so very easy to change, one for each engine. And you can also switch between fuel tanks if you need to as well. So if you have an issue with one tank, you need to switch across, so you have that redundancy as well. As well as a little fuel filter there for the generator. I'll try and confirm on the description the power of the generator. But I imagine it's probably going to be about 3 or 4 kilowatts, looking at the size of it. But as we spin around into the engine bay, you can see the D4 300s. So we've got 600 horsepower on here now. I think originally it probably had two 240 horsepower engines in. So we've got another 120 horsepower on top of what you would have had on the original. And that was always the problem with the old 365s, is they were quite slow. But this does push up your cruising speed fairly significantly. But the engine bay itself, there's loads of room down here, and you can see your battery boxes down the end, but there's loads of room down here. So I just wanted to show you that. So it's very easy to do your engine checks, so you can check your weed traps, you can check your oils, you can check the belts, because there's loads of room all the way around, so there's no excuse not to be able to spot any issues before they develop. And yeah, great shape. So I think that's probably about it from me. Give you that back, Nick. So I might as well round up down here. There's a space where I used to spend a lot of time in my marine engineering days. But I do like this boat, and I do like the fact it's got the more modern engines, because you do tend to get problems with transom shields and stern drives on like 90s boats, especially early 90s boats. So knowing that was all changed, albeit there's still an age to it, it's 2008, but it's had that much modern machinery. So there is a real benefit to this boat. And of course the extra power helps. So if you would like to see more details of this boat, come to our website, park-adams.co.uk. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. But for now, I'll leave you with the lovely view out the back of the boat. And I'll say goodbye and see you on the next video. Bye-bye.